Throughout recorded history, there have been stories of strange beings inhabiting the earth, from bizarre hybrids that are half human and half animal, to giant sea monsters and fire-breathing dragons. But for ancient astronaut theorists, these are not just fanciful stories. They are eyewitness testimony to what could very well be alien entities. And believe it or not, there is evidence that the most famous monster reported in modern times may be a visitor from another world, the jinn.
Karachi, Pakistan, 2016. A 25-year-old mother of 3 is taken to a local physician after displaying increasingly bizarre behavior. She speaks in gibberish and complains of being plagued by disturbing visions and strange voices. Her family claims she is possessed by supernatural beings known as the jinn.
In Islam, there is a class of beings known as jinn. The jinn are angelic, and yet they are not of the ethereal realm. They are of the earthly realm. They're shapeshifters, they can help you, they can also trick you.
Jinn literally means to hide or to conceal. And so you can think of a jinn as a being who is concealed from the senses.
They have all sorts of interesting properties. The jinn can change shapes. The Quran talks about the jinn being able to take animal form.
But it also takes on the notion in Arabic of like possession. Someone who is possessed is called majnoon. They literally have, a jinn inside them.
In the Islamic texts, the jinn appear only when they want to be seen, often influencing humans by whispering instructions to them while invisible.
The jinn are described as shadowy beings that are often malevolent in their intentions. They are supposed to have had magic abilities, supernatural powers, and humans greatly feared the jinn.
Stories of encounters with the jinn have been reported for centuries, and millions of people continue to believe in their existence. But if the jinn really do exist, could they be extraterrestrials?
In order to understand the nature of these entities, we must understand that in many ways they're the intermediary race. Like human beings, they eat and drink. Like human beings, they sexually procreate. But like the angels, they can shapeshift, fly, and know the future.
The interesting thing about the jinn is that technically they're neutral, they're neither good nor evil. But they resent human beings because they were there enjoying the earth, and along came human beings and usurped them.
Is it possible that alien beings known as the jinn preceded humans on planet Earth and have been interacting with us for thousands of years? Perhaps further clues can be found by examining ancient Hebrew texts that describe the role of the jinn in building King Solomon's temple. According to the story, King Solomon was given a powerful ring that allowed him to communicate with the jinn.
In the story, Solomon prays to God, and instantly the archangel Michael manifests as if out of thin air. And Michael says that he's going to give Solomon a power that has never before been seen on earth and never again shall be. And he produces for him a ring with a signet seal that would enable Solomon to control the jinn from that point forward.
The jinn were said to be master architects, and King Solomon used his ring to compel them to help build his temple. The jinn also gave Solomon a mysterious tool that could cut through stone called a shamir.
Now, the shamir is described in traditional literature as this little worm that you'd put on the stone and it would cut it precisely.
The shamir was a quote-unquote worm that could cut and drill through even the hardest of stones rather with ease. What if this shamir was some type of laser cutting device?
As far as ancient astronaut theorists are concerned, the fact that the jinn possessed a device like the Shamir suggests that they were not ethereal beings, but otherworldly creatures that have remained present on Earth to this day.
When we look at various encounters with beings like the jinn, we have to be open to the possibility that these are examples of misunderstood extraterrestrials, that they're a different class of being than we're ordinarily thinking about when we think extraterrestrial. They come from outside of our normal frequency realm.
Number 2, the shee.
Ireland. According to ancient folklore, this lush, green island in the North Atlantic is home to mysterious otherworldly creatures known as the shee, or fairy folk.
Do we believe in fairies and leprechauns in Ireland? Absolutely, 100%. You ask any Irish person. We don't call them fairies, it's the shee. And all of our stories say they came from the sky world. They went underground, they went to rest.
According to ancient folklore, the shee inhabit the massive earthen mounds that dot the Irish countryside. And they've been part of the Irish culture for centuries.
Fairies and leprechauns and all that sort of stuff, like, so too many people kind of laugh and joke about it at times, but it's knowledge that's been passed down for thousands and thousands of years.
While modern-day representations of the fairy folk often depict benevolent, sprightly creatures, traditional Irish notions of fairies are much different. They are considered powerful and sometimes dangerous beings.
You don't want to mess with the Ishi. They're not cute, cuddly little fairies like we typically think of today. But these are very extraordinarily powerful beings that dwell underneath the earth.
While modern stories of the shee often refer to these beings as fairies or elves, the Irish know them by yet another name, the Shining Ones. This is because, according to ancient Irish stories, they are the descendants of a race of luminous beings who came down from the sky more than 3,000 years ago, called the Tuatha De Danann.
There is a description in the mythological material in the early Irish literature of the Tuatha De Danann arriving in cloud ships, arriving in dark clouds, and landing on a mountain.
Irish legends describe the Tuatha De Danann as godlike beings who wielded powerful weapons. But a conflict with humans led them to find a new home in a mystical underground realm.
It was agreed that the Tuatha De Danann would go beneath the earth, inside mounds of earth that were known as shee. These acted as these doorways into a realm where forever after the Tuatha De Danann would live.
After this event, the Tuatha De Danann became known as the shee, just like the mounds they inhabit. But could the shee really exist? In 1969, French astronomer Jacques Vallée published a groundbreaking book on unexplained phenomena called Passport to Magonia, From Folklore to Flying Saucers. In it, he proposed that historical accounts of fairies and other strange beings could be the same phenomenon that today is interpreted as extraterrestrial.
Jacques did what I think is one of the most important books about the UFO phenomena, trying to understand of all the things in the sky and on the ground through history that have either been painted, photographed, caught on radar, what are they and why are they?
According to Vallée, the strange beings that humans have reported encountering for thousands of years, known in Ireland as the shee, may in fact be interdimensional.
Vallée believes that from the time of the Big Bang, if it created one universe, why couldn't it create a multitude of universes? Might there be connections between the different universes where elements from the other universe cross into our universe? and where elements of our universe cross into theirs. That would explain how people coming upon the Shee might not just see an underground civilization, but they might see an interdimensional civilization.
At number 1, the octopus.
History books are filled with sensational accounts of terrifying sea monsters like the Hydra and the Kraken. Some are convinced they exist, while others dismiss them as purely mythological. But perhaps the most extraordinary sea creature is one that can be found in every ocean and is undeniably real. The octopus.
The octopus is a really fascinating organism. The octopus's brain, instead of just being centered in its head like ours, is actually distributed. And there are these brains in their arms as well as the central brain in their head.
An octopus can certainly manipulate its environment. It builds its own homes by piling rocks and shells on top of it.
Octopuses are very adept at camouflaging themselves by changing their color to that of their surroundings really, really quickly. I mean, almost it looks instantaneous to us. It can also manipulate its body into different shapes to imitate other animals.
This extraordinary creature has 3 hearts and 9 brains. Some scientists have speculated that in the absence of humans, the animal best suited to evolve into the dominant species on the planet is not another primate, but the octopus. For many scientists, these creatures are truly unlike any other organism on Earth.
As scientists study octopi, they're amazed at what they're finding, and they're not seeing a connection to some ancestor of the octopi. It's like these creatures were brought here in their entirety and put into our oceans.
Could it be that the octopus didn't originate on Earth, as ancient astronaut theorists suggest? Astrobiologist Dr. Chandra Wickramasinghe believes it's entirely possible. In March 2018, he and 32 other scientists published a scientific paper that caused a sensation in the press. In it, they suggest the octopus contains extraterrestrial DNA.
What we find in the octopus genome is just almost uncanny. It has something like 50,000 genes. Compare that with the human, which has something like 25,000 genes. So the octopus, in many ways, appears to be more complex than the human. Now, how did this complexity manifest itself? There's ample evidence to suggest that it came from outside.
According to Dr. Wickramasinghe, the DNA of the octopus didn't originate on Earth, but was transported here through meteors or comets. The process is known as panspermia.
The panspermia theory cannot be dismissed. And one possibility is that our solar system is like one big gigantic ping pong table, with ping pongs, that is asteroids, carrying DNA going back and forth between the various planets.
Is it possible that the octopus didn't originate on Earth, but was brought here from somewhere else? Perhaps further clues can be found in mythological accounts from across the ancient world that describe aquatic deities who resemble the octopus.
All the way around the world, there are traditions to do with a creator god in the form of an octopus. For instance, in ancient Crete, there are numerous images and paintings of an octopus with bizarre, large eyes. In Ecuador, at a place called Mantas, were these bas-relief carvings of this bizarre octopus deity. We have to ask ourselves, is it possible that the ancients were aware that the octopus is truly alien to this planet?